Good morning. This is Kamera again. We're on day number 62, Deuteronomy 11, 12, and 13. And Moses is still addressing the children of Israel before they head off to the other side of the Jordan River. As we know, he giving them a recount of their journey. He's pointing out certain situations that they encountered from Egypt to this point right here. But I notice in these scriptures here, he's basically just stressing that they obey God. Just obey God. Obey God's commands, obey his decrees, obey his regulations. As long as you obey God, he's there with you. He's going to take care of you. He says, but this is what he does do. He says, I'm basically talking to you at this moment, not your children. It wasn't your children who experienced God like you did. He gives an account of when the children of Israel left, before they even left Egypt, how they saw the miraculous signs that he had done to the Egyptians, how Pharaoh and his army were drowned in the Red Sea after God had parted and then placed it back. He gives them an account of just different things that the children of Israel witnessed while they were in the wilderness, even when he opened the earth and swallowed Eliab and Korah in them. And so, and how he closed everything. He tells them, you witnessed God's miraculous signs. You saw how God is, how he allowed you to win battles. You guys actually witnessed this. So I'm telling you, obey God. I'm begging you, basically, it seems like what he's saying. Obey God if you want it to be well with you. And you know what? Teach your children as well. Teach them everywhere. Teach them at home. Teach them while you're on the road. Teach them, write it down. Write it down. Everything that you know about God, about who he is and what he's done for you. Okay? And everything he's done. So, yeah, that's what he's telling them. He's stressing to them, don't let your heart deceive you where you turn from God. Don't allow your heart to deceive you. Don't let anything to deceive you where you turn from God. He says, show your love to God by obeying him. That's how we show our love to God, by obeying him and doing things that are pleasing to him. I can totally understand that. Think about it. We show our love to our spouse by the things we do, by the things we say. Our spouses show their love to us by doing things that's pleasing to us. Okay? Our children show their love to us and respect when they obey us. When we see that they do things that we taught them and they do it correctly. Those are things that show us that our children love us. Okay? So, I mean, think about it. God is the one who takes care of us. He teaches us. And when we obey him, we're showing our love to him. And our obedience to him when we reject those things that are not pleasing to him. It only makes sense. You know, you have people, don't be that person who says they know God, they love God. They love God, but they're doing everything contrary to what he's taught them and what they know is displeasing to God. And they'll use the excuse, well, he know me, so God's supposed to bring himself down to your level. Really? It's just like our children saying, well, I didn't wash those dishes, she know me. Hey, I'm only putting it out there, okay? It's just like our spouse saying, I love you, I respect you, but they cheat on us. They're not showing us love, okay? I feel like my husband don't love me when he don't keep his shoes outside after working outdoors. He does his feet off. So those kind, I said, oh my God. So those are the things. So, I mean, it's only fair that we really take a look at this thing. We show God that we love him when we obey him and we do things that's pleasing to him. So Moses is stressing to show God you love him by obeying him, follow his decrees. He spent so much time in these 3 books here, 11, 12, and 13 of Deuteronomy, telling us to love God and show him our love toward him and don't serve any other idols. He says, everywhere you walk, God says, everywhere you walk, your feet touch is yours. You are blessed when you are obedient to God. That's what Moses is basically telling them. As long as you live, obey God. And then he says, in this land that I'm sending you to, you're going to drive those people out. But I also want you to tear down their altars, their burnt offering sites. I want you to burn down their Asherah poles. I want you to get rid of everything that they use to serve idols. I want you to completely erase any memory, any thought, any evidence of their idols. Get rid of all of it. And listen, the way that they serve their idols, don't serve God that way. God says, do not serve me the way those other people serve their idols. They did detestable things. They would even so far as burn their own children as ways of showing worship to their idols. Don't imitate anything. Don't even inquire about how they served and why they did certain things with their or for their idols. So erase the memory of them. And listen to this. When someone tries to encourage you or entice you to serve their idols, and Satan is very cunning. I notice nowadays that Satan has a way of doing stuff that makes it look all hip, and how people serve their idols. So they're trying to entice you to do it that way. Don't listen to them. I don't care if it's a prophet who have dreams and can tell the future. If they're serving idols and they're trying to entice you, don't do it. God even told them at that time, stone them. Those people trying to entice you, stone them. Burn them. Burn all their stuff too. If they do some mess like that and try to entice you to serve idols. And then he says, if you continue to do as I tell you to do to those people who are trying to entice you, then everybody else is going to get word of it. They won't even try you. They won't even try you. And that's the truth. People learn how far to try you because they see the evidence of what you'll do if they continue doing those things. So in those days, God told me, he said, get rid of those people who try to entice you. People will learn not to even try you like that. And God also tells them, in this new land that you're going to, you can eat any meat you want, whether it's clean or unceremonial unclean. If it's clean or unclean, you can eat it. As long as you don't eat the blood. You can eat any meat you want. Isn't that something? Just do not eat the blood. And he says, as far as your offerings go, don't think that it's okay to serve burnt offerings differently now that you're in this new land. You still need a Levite. You still have to go in certain places to burn certain things that I told you guys to do in the wilderness. And in this new land, don't forget the Levites. They still need their towns. They still need their things. They were not given a portion of land. So don't forget about them. So that, in that case, when we think about it, Benji, seriously, dude? That's my 1-year-old grandson. Seriously, Benji? But anyway, he tells him, he says, don't forget the Levites. And that reminds me of our men and women of God who has dedicated themselves to the Lord. We are not supposed to forget them either. And so Moses again stresses to them not to serve any idols. Obey, obey, obey God. He stresses that so much in these few chapters here. And he says, God is merciful. And God does listen. Isn't that something? This is the same God, guys. The same God back then. He's the same God now who loves us. And you'll notice in his scriptures, he's always saying, just love me, just obey me, don't serve any other idols. He also tells us how to love each other. Okay? So, yeah. So you guys, I admonish you, please read those scriptures. Deuteronomy chapter 11, 12, and 13. You already know I'm going to say, read it all. Get to know God. And if you guys are reading the word as I'm advising you to, as God advised you to, you won't have a problem with seeing who he is. He's so beautiful. He's so beautiful. He tells us, he says, talk about his blessings, what he's done to your children. Write them down while you're traveling. Talk about them. So, yeah. That's how it is. It's kind of like when when you want your kids to remember someone who you loved so much, you always talk about them. You do, because you want your kids to understand who that person was and who they are. So, yeah. So that's basically it, guys. That was day number 62. We are on day number 62. Getting to know God. seeing his character. And again, as you read the scriptures, ask God for understanding. Again, you know, I don't talk about everything that's happened, so you do need to go back and read the word. Ask God for wisdom, ask God for knowledge, ask God for understanding. And you'll see, when you're not even, after you've read the word throughout the day, you're going to see some of this stuff is going to come back in your mind, and you're going to be wondering. Ask God, he'll clarify anything you need clarity on, okay? So again, we're on our 62nd day. Deuteronomy 11, 12, and 13, okay? You have a God-filled, wonderful, blessed day.